Um, so much is talked about like the youth movement, the age of these coaches, and I get it on certain levels. But like when you were a 25-year-old young man playing football, 26 years old, did 35 or 38 or seem super young to you, or did that seem like they were too young, or did that seem natural?
It seemed natural. You
Okay.
growing up in my household, we were always taught to respect our elders, right? And there's 10-year age difference. If someone is 35, 40, maybe. Let's say your uncle, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's rare that you have a young uncle in the household. So let's say your uncle, someone other than your parent, because most times your parents aren't just 10 years, 15 years older than you. So if you have an uncle that's a few years older than you, you're going to be very respectful of how you interact with your uncle. Yeah, your uncle can be the cool, down-to-earth uncle like a lot of these coaches. That's what I call these new wave of young coaches. They're like uncles to me.
Yeah.
So I look at them, but you still have the utmost respect for them until you don't, right? And, a lot of times it's just that relationship. They're able to relate. They're a lot more relatable to these younger players nowadays. A lot of the philosophies, every coach has their own philosophy. Some coaches wanted to, like Coughlin, for example, he had to be hard. He had to be hard. That was the way he demand discipline from you. And some guys can take a different approach. They try to take a more subtle approach. But you have to, overall, as a coach, you have to figure out the best method for your team. Sometimes it's tough love with certain guys, and sometimes it's, I got to pull off this guy a little bit, in order to get the best out of him. So, and that's the beauty in being a head coach. You have the privilege and opportunity to sort of figure all of that stuff out.
Freddie, I got a question for you off totally different, but want to throw it at you. The Jaguars have obviously the number 5 pick. They also have they'll have the number 30. I think it's 37 pick in the draft. There are a lot of really good running backs out there. Would you be curious? Would you be interested in selecting a running back with that 37th pick? I'm talking about names like the Judkins kid from Ohio State, the Henderson kid from Ohio State, the Hampton kid from North Carolina. There are a lot of running backs available to you in round number 2. It's not necessarily a pressing need for the Jags, but I'm wondering if they might be interested in finding another running back to compete with Bigsby and Etienne. Thoughts?
You know what? I don't think you just said it. It's not a pressing need.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have some capital where you could, defer drafting it back at that spot. Maybe even catch it back in the, 4th round is a sweet spot. I mean, you have 2 guys that are capable. Yes, Travis's season, we can all say it was a disappointment. It was good to see Tank Bigsby make a move, yet he still has to hold on to the ball. And with those guys, you can do some stuff with those guys as veteran backs. And then you want to go out there and sprinkle in some young talent at the position as well, or maybe even look at what free agent looks like out there. So because Dearness Johnson, and he's a guy who's only been he's unrestricted, but he's also a guy like when they brought him in, he was just limited to passing situations and more of a fill-in than anything. So I would still look to go, heavy in the first round. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about that offensive line has to get better.
Right.
You have a franchise quarterback, so you really have to improve there first. So I would target, excuse my language, the first 2. I would look at it my first 2 picks, but, I know receiver is also a pressing need. The biggest surprise of the year was Brian Thomas.
Sure.
But they went up there and they got him for that reason, and they started to use him late, but we have been screaming that early in the season. So I would look at my interior, not just interior, but my offensive line needs first.
You know what, Fred? You stumbled right
someone.
You stumbled right into a question I was going to ask. I gave Hick and ET last week. I gave them each an over/under. So I'd like to get your opinion. Over/under new starters on the offensive line this year. I put the over/under at 1.5. Are you playing the over or the under? New starters on the offensive line. That's a good number. That's why Vegas does one. I'm not going to give you an easy number, Fred. That's why the number's 1.5.
1.5. 1.5 is so solid. You're a real book shop, man. That 1.5 is really
it makes it tough. Where are you going? I'm going over. I'm the only one. I'm going over. This line has been a problem.
Yeah, I was going to lean to over.
Okay.
I mean, because for me, I do like consistency, but I also like change. Especially when it's needed, especially if they can find something, in the draft. Let's say Bo, for example. He's a one-in-a-lifetime talent, Hall of Famer. But he came in day one, he was able to start. Is that type of talent out there? Or someone that has that type of potential? I haven't really dove into the complete makeup of the players that are coming out. But this is the fun time to do it, like watching the combine. And you can kind of see those guys and say, oh, he'll be a great pick for the Jags, or he'll be a great pick for the Jags. So this is when I get a chance to do my evaluation. But, yeah, I would say over. I like that.
What are we doing? Yeah, me too.
Fred, what do you think of kickers? It's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question
because I got Scobie sitting right here with us. We're out here at Tijuana.
You know what? I absolutely. All of my guys that were teammates of mine, kickers, I love them to this day.
Yes.
Scobe is my guy, man. 100 grand. Money Mike is my guy. You know what I'm saying? Two of my favorite guys. When you talk about punters, Chris Hansen, my guy.
Keep chopping wood.
Yeah.
Keep chopping wood, man. So, I get along with all of my special teamers, man. Those guys are always chill.
We saw Killer Bees wandering around here, too, so we got a DB covered for you. I saw Aaron Beasley.
Bees is here.
Came up and said hello. Yep. So got a bunch of them.
They're in the building today?
Yeah, they're here, We're at a charity golf tournament this morning. So, Scobie's actually got the headphones on. You gave a great answer. He's beaming over here.
He's so happy.
Look at
That's my guy, man.
I
think that's the only former football player I know can shoot from the tips at Augusta. And come back shooting under.
Yeah, he can do it.
Have you ever played golf with Fred? Scopes?
No, actually never.
No, you know what? Scope, he hasn't, and he would probably coach me every after every swing.
Fred, this is a couple of weeks in a row because we had Matt Every on a few weeks ago. Matty said he'll take you out. Scobie could take you out. I mean, you got all kinds of offers.
Hey, Fred called me one day, just randomly. Fred Taylor's calling you. He's asking me, tips about golf and whatnot. I'm like, nice. I love this. That's why we're buds.
Fred, overall, now that the things have filled in for the Jaguars, and I know that there's a bit of unknown for all of us. We've got guys in positions that are in that position for the first time at GM and VP and head coach, but all of it taken together, and I know we talked in the beginning here kind of the youth of it, but considering where they've gotten these guys from and what they've done, where's your optimism meter now heading into the personnel part of the offseason?
You know what? I like the moves. I actually love the moves. James Gladstone, he's a guy when, I started to call around after I saw the notification come out. He's a guy who's a systems and processes guy. He's also an underrated football guy. But when you understand that he knows exactly what the Jaguars need right now, going into his interview process, just knowing the game as an assistant GM, he was a vital part of being there with Les Snead out in L.A. and building that roster. And if you look around the past 2 years, the Rams lost a lot in terms of veteran leadership after they made that move and went out and won a Super Bowl. And people counted them out. We sat down with Sean McVay on the pivot, and they had 39 rookies on the roster after that season, after they let go of the veterans. And they went out and made the playoffs, lost to the Lions. And then this past year, they went out and made some great moves in the draft. Obviously, what they've been able to rebuild at the receiver position to the point to where, Cooper, they gave him an opportunity to go seek a trade. He's been talking about trade. So they understand how to draft, is what I'm saying. And James Gladstone, he's been a part of that. He knows what it looks like, what it feels like. And talking also with Tony Baselli, they feel that they got the right guy. I'm excited. I hope the Jaguar fans can get excited. And we're all excited until we see the final product, right?
That's right.
Which is wins. Everybody's going to always be graded by the success of the team, which is always wins and losses. So
yep.
I'm excited for them. I hope they can go out to Indy and evaluate some amazing talent, come back during the draft here, pick those guys, and get this thing going again. So, again, change is always intriguing to me. I think the over-under will be over on the offensive line, as you said, Jeff. And we'll see, man. I'm excited.
Good.
Can't wait to get Trevor back healthy, and be in town to see what we got this year, man. I'm ready to cheer for some good football.
Amen. Good catching up with you as always, Freddie. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Fred.